So I'm having my cholestyramine here in the desert. I'm in New Mexico now because it's far cheaper than Colorado, and I like it. Even though it's pretty warm, it's dry, and I just like the people's attitude here. People are very nice, and I've been through the most fascinating week. This is probably one of the most interesting weeks in my life. What's happened to me after leaving Massachusetts? I was expecting to just leave and just, move somewhere marginally drier and just find a place. And, I was like, when I was looking for a place, I was thinking, oh, where am I going to be able to get new jobs or, get around without a car, etc. I got to Colorado, I started just massively dumping, and my body just started changing really fast, just with that mold differential being from high mold to sort of pretty low mold. And I ended up just becoming sensitive to a lot of stuff that I brought with me and spending a lot of time cleaning that, and then just getting like massive amounts of energy where I was actually feeling like I wanted to go running, and walking seemed too slow and I wanted to go running, which is something that I used to feel back when I was healthy, and just feeling like I wanted to go hiking. It's like my old self before I got fatigued. And also the way that I was reacting to mold was changing a lot, where suddenly, because I was more oxygenated, it seemed that my reactions were different. In the past, when I was in Massachusetts and I'd get exposed to mold, it would be like um, my brain. I don't even like to remember it, but just a lot of things would sort of shut off and close up and kind of like constrict to protect me. And there's a lot of inflammation involved in this, and inflammation is protective. Like, this is why people get steroids, and it turns down your symptoms. But when I got out here, my inflammation seems to be going way down to the point where I can eat a lot of foods I didn't used to be able to eat, such as yogurt, and even I'll look at foods like fast food and I feel like I could probably tolerate it. I have this sense that if I ate it, I'd probably be alright. I don't want to push it, but the inflammation's down, so I'm less protected against mold, and I'm more oxygenated, and somehow that makes it more dangerous. So, like, I went in the Target in Boulder, and somebody told me it was bad, but I was like, well, it's probably not that bad. So I just there's two double doors, like sliding doors. I just went in the first one, and I was already hit with something so terrible that I had to leave, and then it was like causing me trouble walking. And so anyway, like, when you get a lot of mold out of your body, or when you're in a low mold environment sometimes and you do get exposed to mold, you'll be more sensitive to it. So that's kind of where I've been going with this, is now that I get a break from mold, I can actually kind of sense it better, and I'm realizing that it's mostly the mycotoxins, the trichothecenes or whatever. I'm realizing I'm going to have to get rid of everything except maybe my laptop. And so I'm going through today and I'm getting rid of a lot of stuff. I wish that I hadn't brought anything when I moved out here. I've just sort of like thrown stuff away as I've gone on my trip, but it ends up contaminating your hotel room when you bring stuff, because what happens is you come from a high mold environment to a low mold environment. You bring your stuff into your hotel room, and then when you're out during the day walking around, you're all low mold. You come back to your hotel room and it feels like hell, And I had to like switch hotel rooms 3 times in Boulder, and people with the Boulder outlook were actually very accommodating. Hallie there was very nice, and also they have a bromine pool there, so people have said that they go there to detox if they get exposed to stuff. They just jump in the pool, and I think the outer rooms are better because they're less humid. But anyway, it was a fun place. It's kind of cool because they have this like thing you can climb on in the pool. So then I went to Albuquerque, and then I took the bus to somewhere else in New Mexico. So yeah, it was just the way that my body has changed. It's just been 1 week. My body has changed so drastically in 1 week, and I'm in for it now. Like, now that all this has happened, I have to like live in the desert now, because my mold tolerance is so low. My mold toxin tolerance is so low, but it feels healthy. I'm just going with it, and I'm glad that I've had the prior experience of trauma processing, because it's just very similar to that. Where as soon as if your body wants to go towards healing, but if it doesn't feel safe, it'll just keep you in sort of a safe mode until you get a chance to let it out. And once your body sees an opening, it just goes for it. Like, I was storing trauma most of my life, and then I got a nice boyfriend and a sort of a comforting situation, and suddenly it's like boom, it's like all the dam had been broken and everything. And then I went through this major process, and it's kind of an irreversible process. Like, I I kind of like discharged it, and now I'm in this new state. But also, similar to with mold, when you're discharging trauma, you go from like a protected sort of frozen state into like a very like open, vulnerable state, and it feels better and it's healthier, and you feel great in that state, but you are more vulnerable. Like when I would do a lot of trauma processing, and then suddenly I would just feel like all my nerves were just open to the world more, and um, like stuff would just affect me. Like little things would affect me much more right after it until I balanced out more. But it's worth it, and I'm glad I did that process, and so now I'm going through this other process. So I'm just enjoying it so much. I think part of it is it just gives you a high when you suddenly have endorphins, and I'm guessing that my body's like overcorrecting with the endorphins because I had like very low endorphins when I had Lyme and mold because it suppresses your endorphins. And now I'm coming out here, I just feel like I feel naturally high. I mean, I know that I had that secondhand experience a month ago or so, but this just feels so wonderful and beautiful, and I just enjoy life now, and I just feel so satisfied from my own bodily chemicals that I'm making, and my voice has changed too. I think I'm making more natural sex hormones because those get suppressed, and just there's so many things that I knew were wrong with me when I was dealing with mold, and I would try to fix them all individually with Care for my immune system and this and that for my hormone balance, etc. And I just don't even feel like I need supplements anymore. I mean, I take cholestyramine and maybe like one thing here or there, but um, it just feels like unnecessary, and I mean, it takes me down from this natural high that I'm getting from like, oxygen in my body. Uh, what this feels like, the closest thing that this feels is the ozone, using ozone, because that's also very oxygenating. But then I've been getting effects that feel similar to a lot of other things I've taken in the past. Like I was getting one of the days my immune system, I felt like immune balancing, just like Care plant sterols would do. And other days, it feels like ozone or germanium or something oxygenating. So anyway, it's just such a wild and exciting ride. And I'm one of those like, I guess I am sort of a experience junkie. I just like to experience stuff, and it's just such a fun and interesting experience, and it seems like one that more and more people are doing. There's sort of a migration of people from the Northeast to the West who have mold sensitivity, and then a lot of people are trying to practice this mold avoidance. And I guess some people are able to just move without having this massive thing happen to them, but I guess my level of mold was high enough that I couldn't just move to Colorado. I like had to go through this massive thing where I got all like detoxing and sensitive, and my body is changing totally. And so, I guess I'm in it for the long-term health, and I've always been willing to kind of shun society and do unusual things. So I'm actually planning on camping here, getting a house with a yard and camping, because I used to think that was so extreme, but if you have a house, you can just go in and have your whatever you need to cook in the house. Like that's easy. And then also the other day somebody was telling me about it, and I was looking at these trailers, and I saw this aluminum trailer, and my body was like, oh my god, I wouldn't have to be in buildings. And so I'm just like, that just sounds delicious right now, just because I'm at the point where I can feel it's just buildings are not very healthy for people like me. They're and in this kind of a severe mold toxic state. And so yeah, that's all. I've been trying not to talk too big because I have my root canals removed, and I'm not wearing my partial. So anyway, that's all.